War in Iraq, the forward headquarters for the U.S. Central Command and for General Tommy Franks was in Qatar, a tiny sheikhdom on the Persian Gulf that is energy-rich and strategically located. Qatar is also, as Ed Bradley reported when we ran this report for the first time just before the outbreak of the war, one of the most interesting and progressive countries in the Arab world, and one of America's closest allies and best friends.
Located on the outskirts of Doha, the capital of Qatar, is a military base called Aljazeera, a warehouse facility with a deliberately low profile. More than 1,000 U.S. troops are stationed here, but you'd hardly know it. These flags behind me, the flags of Qatar and the United States, are the only visible symbols that this base, Aljazeera, sits on some of the most strategic real estate in the Middle East. Since the end of the Gulf War, the United States has used these prefabricated warehouses to store everything from Humvees to tanks. Most of that equipment has now been moved out and into position. This is the forward headquarters for the U.S. Central Command. And this is Al Udeid, the second American base in Qatar, only a half-hour flying time from targets in Iraq. Qatar spent $1 billion on its construction on the theory that if we build it, the Americans will come. And they did. Sheikh Hamad bin Thani is Qatar's foreign minister.
Does the presence of U.S. bases and troops guarantee your independence, guarantee your freedom, guarantee your natural resources?
I don't want to take it this way, but it is a comfort for us. Let us be frank.
Do you think Qatar needs protection from outside?
Yes, we need a superpower to be with us because of the wealth which we are going to have in a very near future.
That wealth comes from natural gas. 500 trillion cubic feet of it lies beneath the Persian Gulf off Qatar, the largest single natural gas field in the world. It's already made the people of Qatar, known as Qataris, rich. Within 5 years, it's estimated that per capita, they will be the richest people in the world. By any definition, life for Qataris is good. Education is free, and so are all the utilities. Housing is subsidized, and that's just the beginning.
Do Qataris pay taxes here?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani is the ruler of Qatar, the Emir.
And do they pay for a doctor, for hospital care?
No, not yet.
These are some of the benefits, according to the Emir, of living in a tiny, extremely rich country. Ruling this conservative tribal desert kingdom has been the Emir's family business since 1867.
He is the one.
But after 135 years of hereditary autocratic rule, Sheikh Hamad decreed that it was time for Qatar to try something which in the Arab world is rare: democracy.
Do you believe that democracy is an essential ingredient for change?
Well, any people they want to develop their countries, they have to practice democracy. That's what I believe, because there is no one could say that he will be the qualified person to lead.
Sheikh Hamad made himself the qualified person to lead the old-fashioned way in this part of the world. He deposed his own father in a bloodless coup in 1995. He had already convinced his extended family change was a necessity. If Qatar wanted to be more than just another insignificant Gulf sheikhdom most of the world had never heard of. They have now. When the Emir created Al Jazeera, the first independent satellite news channel in the Arab world, he put Qatar on the map, broadcasting controversial interviews, Osama bin Laden communiques, and talk shows that frequently criticize other Arab regimes. Since then, Sheikh Hamad's held the first elections in the country's history, has given women the right to vote, and authorized drafting the country's first constitution, to be followed by parliamentary elections.
Your Highness, how would you describe yourself? Are you a revolutionary, a reformer, a pragmatist?
I consider myself a normal person, and I'm trying to do my best to help my country.
But some of the things that you're doing in your country, in this part of the world, are truly revolutionary.
Well, you know, sometimes if you are in a revolution, you don't realize it except later.
Where does it come from? I mean, what is your motivation? You didn't have to do this.
No, but, you know, if I look around the world, I could see the most progress country who's practicing democracy.
When the world looks at Qatar, that's what Sheikh Hamad would like it to see. A progressive country practicing democracy. It will certainly see construction. There is so much building going on in Doha, it looks like the entire city is getting a facelift.
Well, I think it's supposed to
The Emir, who likes to see how the work is going, regularly drives himself around town.
Do you ever get stuck in a traffic jam?
This is normal. When I'm driving alone, this is normal.
And people recognize you?
Yes, yes, I know.
What do they say?
Oh, some of them blow his horn and the police take ticket because it's not allowed to blow your horn. You know.
He drove us past miles of new developments, everything from new homes to new office buildings, to modern hotels that are literally growing out of the desert. It's all part of Sheikh Hamad's vision to transform his country from what used to be one of the most conservative and traditional countries in the Middle East into a cultural and educational mecca, a dream shared by his wife, Sheikha Moza Nasser Al-Misri.